So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session. And it's an interesting one. So we're gonna have an interesting topic. There was a time it used to be the rave of the period, and then gradually people lost. A lot of people who were not present when this was launched, they probably have not heard about it, and so this is a great opportunity for you to see this in action. It's still as powerful as it always has been touted as, and if you ask me, I think it's even more powerful now with all the other formulas that Microsoft has been putting into Excel. So we are very fortunate to have someone take us on that today. His name is Quadri Atharu. He's already in, so I'm not going to spend too much time doing intro, but he's going to take us on a 1 hour journey with this. And he said that he wants it to be interactive, which means, come up with questions for him. He even wants you to tell him what kind of stuff you want to do. I know you cannot unmute yourself. I know you cannot just, turn on the mic and start to talk, but you can put them in the chat box. So he wants it to be two-sided. He doesn't just want it to be that what he has planned is the only thing he gets to take us through. So as usual, I will talk about the sponsors. We are your BizEdge and MHS Analytics. We are the ones bringing this to you every week. It might look as if like it's so effortless because we do this every week. But I tell you, it takes the same amount of work as it took when we started this 3 years ago. So I sometimes tell myself that it is a good achievement. It's not easy. A lot of other people too did webinars during the COVID years, but not everybody is able to continue it because it's tasking. And we are grateful to you, to our presenters, because without you, it will naturally die. Even if we show up and nobody shows up, it's as if it's not happening. So thank you for that. And if you have any needs for training in Excel, SQL, Power BI, financial modeling, we are your sure plug. We are the ones who would like you to reach out to. King and MHS Analytics is our Canadian entity, so similar services, but say maybe you're in North America or you're in Europe, and it's just easier to get invoiced. I mean, you prefer to be invoiced or deal with the Canadian entity for whatsoever reason. Maybe it makes it easier for your company to approve the payment. It's a bit very difficult to pay a Nigerian entity from outside Nigeria. So, and also if it gives more comfort, to your colleagues and to you, that you are dealing with a company that can get payment in USD and, like in Canada. So let's go to the main part of the session, which is our speaker, our presenter today. So his name is Quadri Atharu. I got his full name from LinkedIn. I forgot to get his consent. He's an Excel enthusiast who is passionate about data analytics, finance, and IT. Actually, he has an interesting profile. I will share his LinkedIn connect on the chat. So please connect with him. He's worked in the finance sector, and when you see someone who is working in the finance area and is using Excel, you will know that they use it intensely. These are it's been working in roles that require not just the basic Excel use, but the more I want to use the word advanced Excel use, and he's dealing with things that are very sensitive. He must not make mistake. He can't afford to, go put in some zeros where they should not be. That can lead to somebody being paid millions instead of just thousands of naira. So he's someone who is walking the talk, and I hope you pay attention and get to learn from him. He loves to solve problems. He's all about lifelong learning, constantly seeking opportunities to upskills in data and IT in general. And one interesting announcement, there will be prize awards, So please stay vigilant, It's going to, and our awards are not capped. If two people get the answer, we'll give the two people. If all of you get the answer, we'll give you all. Yeah, there's no need to make it, we are not stingy with it. So I'm going to share his profile and you can connect with him. But right now, I'm going to hand over the session to him. So, Quadri, sir, it's over to you. I'm going to fade into the background, turn off my camera so you can come up stage, you can share your screen, and you can take us away. Okay. You're on mute. You need to unmute yourself. Yeah, it happened to me too. Can you hear me? You need to unmute. If not unmute
Yes, I
yourself.
have.
Oh, okay. Now, yes. Good, great. Now,
Hello,
good.
everyone. Thank you, Mr. Michael, for the introduction. I don't think I have to do any introduction again. And it's a privilege for having me here. It's a privilege. So today we'll be looking at functional programming in Excel. But I want to assure you that the topic might seems like something that might seem big, but if we can just pay attention, I can assure you that it's something very easy. And I will be sharing my screen now so you can follow me. Okay. 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 Functional programming in Excel with let and lambda function. I'm very sure most of us are already familiar with these functions. And if not, I'm going to introduce you to them. The lambda functions was introduced some years back, including with let functions as well. But over time, I've noticed that it has not, despite the despite Microsoft keep improving on the features, people are not usually, maybe they are not aware or not, maybe they are not well educated on how to use them. Because if you are not familiar with these functions, I can assure you that we are missing a lot. So let me start with functional programming. Functional programming is a programming paradigm that treats computation as the evaluation of mathematical functions. The word mathematical function, everything is based on functions, just like we have it in mathematics. It is a declarative type of programming that focuses on what to solve rather than how to solve. That's what, unlike the imperative type of programming that deals with how to solve, it focuses on what to solve. And what do we mean by? Let's look at functions. Functions are self-contained blocks of code that perform specific tasks. They take input, processes it, and then return output. And we have two types of functions. We have built-in functions and user-defined or custom functions. Built-in functions are the functions that comes with the tools. In this case, these are the functions that come with Excel, like the sum functions and all. And there's no way we'll be talking about functional programming without referring to lambda calculus. It is the foundation for functional programming languages, as it provides a simple and powerful way to express computation. It was developed by a mathematician in the 1930s, before the advent of electronic computer, by Alonzo Church. And it has been a feature of numerous programming languages since Lisp. So it also formed the basis for other programming languages. Most of programming languages have lambda functions as a feature. Most of them has it. And we have some programming languages that are fully functional program, like Haskell, Clojure, and all, and Erlang and Clojure. So the lambda function in Excel it enables one to create custom reusable functions. It encapsulates complex logic, make your spreadsheet more modular and easy to maintain. And this is the syntax. Let's take for example. We have the parameter or calculation. Simplified when we move.
I think he's disconnected. Let me just check. Yeah, I think his network has kicked him out. Please, let's just give him a second to reconnect or some minutes. I mean, hopefully less than a minute. Might even need to call him. I just hope he's aware. That's the other thing. Please just bear with me as I try to get him back online. Oh, good, good. I was even worried maybe you are not aware that you got disconnected. So you're back, yes. You need to unmute. Can you hear me? You need to unmute. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Can you try to say something so we can be sure?
Yes, where did I stop before it went
Okay.
off?
Yeah, you stopped at that Lambda is in all programming languages now. Like all of them have the Lambda function within them. You've finished talking about Lisp, you've talked about the history, then you've talked about, then I think you wanted to start talking about Lambda in Excel.
Okay. I think I will start with the demo already.
Okay, thanks.
Hope my screen is visible now.
Yes, it is.
It is, okay. So, as I said earlier, we can use Lambda to create we can use it to create custom functions. So, there are various ways we can go about that. We can make use of Lambda directly, but firstly, you'll be using Lambda without using Lambda. That is, you'll be making use of Excel Labs. This is an add-in by Microsoft. This is an add-in by Microsoft themselves. This is not what this is not what I'm doing. So I'll be making use of these notes. So I think I will leave that for now. So I will, this case now, what I want to achieve is a digit sum. So I'll be solving it normally without Lambda here. So I'll make use of let function. How let functions work is that you name your variables, and then you name them, and the expression will be in front, will be the next argument. So we are going to start with the data. What I want to do here is a digit sum. That is a digit sum, which is 4 plus 7 plus 5 plus 9, and then 5. So I want to start with A2. I want to make A2 the data here now. Then what's the value? The value is A2. Then here I'm pressing Alt Enter. Okay. So what I will have to do is to first split all the information in the data, which is using made function and sequence length. It would have been easier. I don't know why Excel is bringing Python currently. So this is what I want to do. Then I want to do it individually. So let's see what that will give us. Let's see. This is splitting it, but in this case, it is still in a text format. But by adding this double unary operator, it will make it a number. We can do it several ways, but so by doing this, I'm done. So we can make this a custom function by doing, just follow me as I'm doing it. This lambda. Then when we are doing a lambda, we name the parameter. The
Hello?
parameters are the.
Yeah,
Hope you
hello,
can see my
Quadri.
screen.
Yeah, we
Sir?
can. Yeah, sorry, we can. I wanted to say, since you wanted to also use this other advanced formula environment, I can
Okay.
I can show you how to take away the
Okay.
Python. You
Okay.
know,
Okay. I've not even used that of Python. I don't know why it's
yeah. So
coming up.
if you click on those three horizontal lines,
Okay.
just yes, yes. If you click on
Okay.
feature,
Okay.
yeah, so it will go back to the menu. So I think you wanted
Okay.
to use this one for us. The advanced
Yes. Yes.
formula. Yeah, I think it will be
Yes.
easier for people to follow. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. So I think let me continue with this. Then I will do another formula, another function with the Excel lab. Thank you, Mr. Michael. So I will be naming this the number. Let me just call this a number. Then I don't have to make use of a let function in this case because it is not complex. So all I have to do is to change this to number. Wait. All I have to do to this is to change this to a number. In this case, that's the only parameter we have. It will give us a count error. But I think, okay, lambda. I don't know why I'm having this issue. Okay. Okay. So in this case, this function, in this case, what we are having here, this is what because lambda function can also be referred to as an anonymous function. In this case, it has not been named. But when we copy this type of function and take it to the name manager and name it and give it a name, let me copy that function here and give it a name. Let me call it digit sum. Take note, the naming convention still applies here. Digit sum. And we can
Okay,
just give it a comment.
sorry, we cannot see the place where you are doing the naming.
You
So
can't.
yes, but I think I know why. So I think when you shared the screen, you shared, but uh, you shared just the Excel.
Okay.
So I don't. It depends on you
Well,
if you want to share the full screen, or maybe you
I
will.
can share the full screen. Should I
Oh,
reshare?
okay, yes, yes, that will make us see everything. Yes, thanks.
Okay. Hope you can see it
Now,
now.
yeah, we see everything now.
Okay.
Awesome.
So I can give it a comment. Sum all digits. Let me just sum all digits. So I think okay, you can see. We can use this kind. I can make use of okay. So we've created the custom function here. So I can make use of that now. So I will also be introducing a function here called map function. A map function, what it does is a lambda helper function. What it does is to apply a function to a list, to a range, to a list of, to a range. When we are talking about map in Excel now, you will be looking at a range, a sequence of data. So in this case, if I want to apply this same function to the whole of this data instead of dragging them, so I can make use of map function. So what map function is going to do is to apply this same digit sum function. So what's the array here? The array is this. Then I will also call this lambda. So I can give it a name. I can call it data. Then I can come here and change this to data. There's a comma missing here. So I can call this data. So that works. So I'll be making use of I need to take a look here. So I'll be making use of the Excel lab here to show you how we can actually make use of lambda without using lambda. So I'll be taking off most of this. Okay, so I'm having, okay. So here now we'll be creating functions that has optional parameter and the one that does not have. But firstly, we'll be starting with the ones that does not have. Excel has an inbuilt function which can do a straight line method of depreciation. We will also be doing our own. And what's the formula for doing a straight line method, a straight line depreciation? Is cost minus residual value or scrap value divided by number of years. So our assumption here is that we are calculating by year. So we want to create a function that will be doing that for us. So let me make this go on. So we can name this straight line. Okay, let me just call it SL depth. Then we can describe it annual depreciation calculation. The argument are the parameters. Don't let's mix it up. What differentiates an argument from a parameter is that parameter are the variables, they are the inputs. When we name those characters now, in this one that we want to create, we have cost, then after naming that, you press enter, we have cost, we have residual value or scrap value. Let me call it scrap value. We can scrap value, then we have number of period. Let me just say number of years. Number of years. Then that's all. So what we'll be doing here is just to type it as if we are doing a cost minus scrap value. Let's put this in parentheses. So we'll be fine. Divided by number of years. So I think that is done. And if we save this, it should also appear in our function. So if we save that now, we can calculate this and also compare it with the inbuilt function too. So what's the name again? SLDev. I think it's not showing there. It's not showing yet. I'm not sure it's showing yet. Okay. It's meant to show, but let me see my name manager. It's not showing yet, but it's meant to show. Mr. Michael.
Yes. Let me
It
also
seems something is
check.
not right here.
I know they updated this recently. Let me also check if there's a new thing one needs to do to make it show.
Okay. Because I tried this and it's working fine previously. So it was meant to. Okay. So what should I do? So that's how to do that. But I feel in case that is not working, I don't know why it's not working. In
I
case
have
that
good
is
I have good news. If you type
okay.
it in the chair in the cell, Excel cell, try to type the SLDP, you'll see it will come out if you do equal to.
Okay.
So I think maybe the update they do. Oh, it didn't come out in yours, it came out in mine.
Okay.
It
was meant to comment. I tried it as well.
It's the functions name.
Okay.
Came out
Okay, it's
in mine.
coming now. It's
Have you
coming
seen it?
now.
I was surprised.
So
okay, goodness.
it will. This is the comment we gave it. This is the description we gave it. So we have our cost as 500,000. We have our scrap value or salvage value as 10 naira. We also have it as a number of years as 5. So it's giving us what is. So we'll also be creating function with optional arguments, with optional parameters. In that case, I'm very sure most of us are familiar with functions whereby we ignore certain parameter because they are optional. Just like when we in a lookup function, this range lookup, we don't really, in cases where we don't want to do an exact match, we usually leave it or we just do true. So that's the case. And in conventionally, it is usually the last parameter. So in this case, we'll also be doing something like, okay, let me make use of sales with VAT. Okay, amount with VAT. Let's say we have this a particular amount as sales. Let's say we have a sales of 15,000 naira and a VAT, but there are cases where we might, let's say the VAT, let's take for example, Nigeria as example. Let's say we have a 7.5% on VAT but maybe it might vary in some cases. Maybe it might vary in some cases, but it should usually default to 75% in case it is not the information is not supplied. So I won't be using the grid, the Excel lab here. So it can also work, but so in this case, I will be naming we have sales. Okay, let me just call this amount with VAT or with tax, something like that. We have amount as our variables. We have amount, we have, let me call it tax. We have amount, we have tax. So we are going to, okay, let me continue. We are going to enter. So what we want to do is to, okay, before I start this, what we want to do is to multiply this by this and plus it and add it to this. But we don't want to be doing this every time. Or we just want to supply this particular amount and this, and not solve all this. This might not actually be, we might not actually see it as something stressful. So, but just to explain how optional parameter works. So let me start with the lambda again and start naming the parameter. The parameter we'll be using is amount. Let me call it amount. Then we have tax. So I'll be making use of another function called is omitted. Is omitted. In case, let me show you, let me type the function before even start. Is omitted. What it does is to check whether the value is omitted and returns true or false. And this value you want to test, such as a lambda parameter, it's going to test a lambda parameter if it is present or if it is omitted. In case if it is omitted, it's going to default to a particular amount. And if not, what? Oh my God. Okay, so let me start doing that again. Amount, you don't have the amount tax. Then if is omitted, what's the argument? Tax. Yeah, now if tax is omitted, then give me 0.05. Is it 0.05? Yes. Else give me tax. Give me the one that is supplied. In case, okay, let me see. I'm doing a whole lot of things wrong. So if this, okay, so if it's omitted, this is omitted is going to check whether this argument is supplied or not. Value if true, if it's omitted, then give me this particular amount, 0.075, else give me whatever is supplied. Then multiply that by the amount plus, okay, wait, I'm coming. So this should be in a parenthesis. So add this to what? To the tax, to give us amount after tax. But there are certain issues that we will be having with this, but let's test it. Let's test this function here. So we will be testing it without even going. You see, I will be having an issue, but that's because I've not supplied the optional argument. But this is omitted, is meant to take care of it, but it won't unless I press put the comma. Is working now. This, okay, there is problem with this function sef. If it's omitted, give me this. I think this is too much. Okay, I can see the issue. Still not working fine. I'm meant to add this to my amount and not tax. So this is what I was supposed to have. So, but if we notice most of our functions that has optional parameter, you don't usually have to put comma. Like that of the VLOOKUP I explained earlier, we don't always have to put comma. We can just ignore them. So we can also do that, ignore this, and it will work by adding square brackets. By adding a square bracket, because that's the convention of Excel formulas. Parameters that are optional, they are usually on square brackets. So if you see that now, it will work without putting the comma. It will work. So this now, we can save this to our, we can save that to our name manager as amount after tax. Amount after tax. Let me give it returns. The tax has been added. So we give it this. We can also create that easily with this Excel lab, but I don't want to do it. You can see it here. So what's our function name again? Amount after tax. So we for us to see the description, that means it will only show before this returns value after tax has been added. So we have, I've not supplied it. So we have the amount. Then I can also ignore it. If I did not ignore, then I can give it something else. Let me say 6% in this case. I can give it 6%. So I think that is working fine. Let's create more custom functions. What we have here is a future value. We also have a future value function here. Maybe it may not be intuitive enough. What's future value? These are a future value will actually is the value of an investment on a specific date in the future. Our assumption here is that we are calculating by year, because I don't want to take into consideration month and all of that in this case. So we will be working with this function. Let's try to do that here, or we can also do that without going to, I'm scared of going there and I get stuck again. So let's start with what was the first, these are the, what's it called? The variable, the parameters. I think everything here is a compulsory parameter, no optional. We have to give rate of return. Let me just call it rate. Number of period. Let me just call this period. So what are we doing here? We are doing CO, which is the cash flow. Why is it not coming up? Let me continue. cash flow into bracket 1 plus what's rate. I don't know why it's not coming up. The exponent number of period, the period. So is that right? Let me see what this
one. There's a multiplication between the cash flow and the parenthesis.
But I
It will
think
work.
it should work since this is in a square bracket, should still work. So let's test one. We have this information here. Let's test it with this. These are let's take into consideration that we are going to be following this cash flow, then we have rate, then we have the period. Okay, I have not closed the. So it's working. It's working. So that's how we create simple functions. But there are cases where all these functions will require several steps. That's where let will come into action. That's where let will come into action. Let me name this over. The advantages of using this Excel lab is you don't have to do a lot. You don't have to do the lambda. Just name your expression, your argument. And, okay, let me call this push-up value. Push-up value. You should note that we can't have a space. All the naming conventions usually have still applies here. So we have push-up value. Push-up value. I'm just trying it again. So here we'll be looking at palindromes. We want to create a custom functions for palindromes. I did not even, what do we understand by palindromes? Let me just type that. Let me type that. So palindrome is a word, phrase, or sequence which read the same backward as forward. That means I think that's self-explanatory. It read the same forward and backward. Something like known. We have something like known, mom, and so on and so forth. So just like we have is even function, is this, is that function that gives that tests a condition. If a particular condition is met, it gives true and false. Here we want to create an palindrome function just to test if these items are palindrome. So what I want to do is actually to filter the ones that are palindrome and leave others. So how to go about it? We are going to, just as we usually, mid function, we are going to make use of mid function. We are going to do this before we are going to try one of these before testing, going about making it a custom function. Let's take from A2 as example. So we are doing a mid sequence. Why we are making use of mid is to take the individual characters. So and we are also using sequence, learn of the sequence, to take individual character from the beginning to the end. That's why we are using that. And we are also making use of number. We are supplying 1 as the number of characters so as to take individual characters. So I would have preferred we just start with a let function directly. So it will be easy. Let me call this word equals to what is this? That's how let function work. So let's say this step now, I name it split individual character. Let me just call it split. Mid, what do we want to split? What's the start number? We are starting, the start number will be the sequence of the length of the word. And what's the number of characters? We have 1. So we can actually debug, and if there is any issue, we can actually just test what's our word. Supplying something. What's our word? Our word is mass. That's why they said, okay, split function. You see, that's working fine. But what we actually want to do is we can actually do what we want to do directly from here. Okay, we can actually, instead of starting from 1 year, because in a sequence, let me just show you what's going on here. So what we have here, what character is this? Okay, this is what is going on. But what we actually want to do is we want to start from 4. We want to start from 4 and have a step of -1. But I think this is long. We can also make use of sort function. You can also make use of sort function, and then you can see the square bracket I'm talking about. You can ignore this. So by default, it's going to sort ascendingly, but what we need here is to sort in a descending order. So it also works fine. So what I want to do is this. So this is what I want to do here. So it will start from the back. It will start checking the information SRAM to know if it is actually a palindrome. So what I want to do here is to sort this. In a descending order. So let's see let me just call this reverse split. Reverse split. Let's see what the reverse split is. You can see is taking it from the back. So this reverse split, we can actually do everything with just lambda in a single step, but we want it to be easy to debug and in such a way that. So what I want to do now is the last step is to concatenate this reverse split function. Let's see what this is giving us. Okay, it's giving us this. So we are now going to test if this the concatenation of the reverse split is going to give us words. So that's what we want to do. That's false. That means it is not these ones are true, these ones are. So we can actually make this a function. And how are we going to do that? We are going to start with lambda here. Lambda. And the only argument we are going to give it is word. Let me call it word. Okay, let me just call it word. That means I have to change. Okay, I don't need this again. I notice. Okay, that I have to change this to word, then to word, and that's all. So I can actually test this now. So it's working. So I can copy this. I can copy this and take it out to our name manager and call it ispal function. Let me just call it ispal function. Let me call it ispal. Returns to this is just for you to. It's not really if a text is a palindrome. So that's how that works. So I can make use of the ispal function now. You can see it returns true if a text is a. So what are the words? It's not working here because it only works with just a single character. So we also have to make it work directly with this whole character. Remember, I mentioned map function the other time. Map function, as I said earlier, is going to map that function. Okay, let me just continue. It's going to apply a function. And in this case, we are going to name this lambda map function is part of the lambda helper function we have. So we are going to name these words now. So we have that as words. So we can just apply the ispal function. And let me call these words. That's all. Should work. Something is going on. What is that? What's going on? Okay, it's fine now. So I can decide to filter this. Can decide to filter this. Not working. Still not working. To my country. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So what I want to do is to filter this. What's going on? Oh, I don't know why I'm having that issue. But I can also make use of to call function too. To call function, but I can actually do this. Don't know why I'm having this issue, but this is what I intend to do. These are the palindromes here. I also have a lot to cover, but let me come to this before this advanced cipher. We have the function we want to create, not necessarily a function here, is to get end date of particular days in a month. Let's say all third Fridays in 2024, or whatever the month, whatever the date. Let's say we want to get all third Thursdays, all wait, I'm coming. Can be the all first, all second. So how are we going to go about that? So you'll be starting let's assume we are starting with January. So you'll be starting with the let function. You have our start date as what? Our start date will be, let me call it day, year. What's the month? Let's call that 1. And let's assume our day 2 is 1. And our end month, our end month will be what? Will be the end of month, EO month, which is of this start date. And what's the month? We have 0. So let's say all days, it will be sequence of end of that month minus start of that month plus 1, starting with the start date. So no, the step will remain the same. At this point, let's check what we are having. Let me check what all this is giving me. It's giving me from 1st to 31st of January 2024. So I think it's working fine. So what we want to do is to take, okay, in this case, is to take the, okay, let me take into consideration the weekdays now. The weekdays, okay. Let's say we want to, the weekdays, okay, the day now, the day we want to test, the particular date. Let me just call this W day, the weekday. Is good. We can actually, let me stop, let me do this and explain something first. Okay, we can actually derive this our Monday, because you might be wondering, what if you don't have this and all of that? You can actually get that with our date function, it's our sequence function, I mean. We have a sequence of 7 days, and I can just make use of text function, and the format should be in days. So I can have this as, instead of referencing this, I can actually have that. So I can make use of this to get the particular day. So I'll be saying weekday equals to X match of the day they are supplying me here. X match, to actually know the position it's going to fall into. So to actually know, let me see what that will be giving me here. Okay, that's because this is in a text date form. So this is giving me Tuesday, that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's what that means it is working fine. So what I want to do next is to filter certain days, filter all days where the weekday of all days equals to WK day. Let's see what that will be giving us. So that's Ctrl+Shift+3 to make it to a date format. So this will be giving me, let's confirm these days. This is actually giving me all days, all Tuesdays in January 2024. But we still have a long way to go, not really long way to go. Let me call this all, okay. I can actually work with what I need here now. So I can just make use of choose row function or index function to to actually choose the, in this case, I want all Tuesdays. That means in this case of January now, I want all the second row. I don't know if we are at the point already. That means we want the second row, which is row 2. Let me see what. No, I'm not meant to. That's not meant to be hard-coded. So that will be end this. So that is giving me the second day in Tuesday. But what we actually want to do is for all months. So instead of hard coding this as month 1, this is what we are going to do. Remember, I mentioned earlier that map function is going to apply a function to series of number, like a range of. But in this case, what I want is to a sequence of 12, because we have 12 months in a year. So I'll be starting with map. What am I mapping? What is the array? No array. I want to map a sequence of 12. Then I will say lambda. I'm going to name this now as, let me just call it MNTH, as month, to know that is my month. So I can just come here and change this particular one that has been hard-coded as 1 to this. So let's see what it's going to give us. I'm not sure all the brackets has been closed. And this is giving us all Tuesdays in 2024, all Wednesdays in 2024. And we don't, okay. I'm not sure, is anyone asking question, Mr. Michael? All Thursdays in 2020,
No.
all second. Okay, no question.
No questions.
That means, sir?
No questions.
Okay, that means they are getting it.
I hope so too. You've got into the deep side of it.
Not really deep. So I don't know if, okay, it's 5 already. Seriously? Yeah. I actually wanted to talk on, but I think we should have question and answer now. Okay, I actually want to do, but I think it's okay now.
Okay, I see you have like 2 more things prepared. Okay, it's just yeah, but we can have question and answer. Yeah, so Bello has a question. Bello, okay. Should I make you a speaker? So I'm going to give you ability to unmute. So Bello is one of our regular participants. I think one day he should also come and present. He's always able to contribute actively. So Bello, yes, I've given you ability to unmute. So if you want to ask the question directly, you can ask. And if you think you want to type it, I'll read it out.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes,
good afternoon to our able presenter as well. Please, sir, I want to ask this question. I want to ask this question. Concerning what you have done just now. What if you should have a large amount of data and we're asked to extract like very large amount of data? Like I'm talking about like 10,000, 20,000 data. And we're asked to extract months and day out of it and year separately on a separate column. How are we going to do that? Please, sir, can you just go straight more on that? Thank you so much. God bless you, sir.
Can you just give me a case, like, just give me one to do now, because we are going to be using filter function for that. So what exactly do you want? Let's say we have, let me generate a day now. Let me say this. We have
something like this data that you just created now, the one I'm looking at on your screen now.
Let's say we have 2022 is our starting date, and our end date should be like, let me just say 2024. So I just want to create the date now. The end date minus this plus 1. And starting from this. So 1, 2, shift 3. So what do you want to achieve here now? Let's say we have something as much as this.
God bless you, sir.
What do you want to achieve?
You want to achieve the day on a separate column, the month on a separate column, and the year on a separate column. How can we do that, sir?
Okay. You can make use of text function. You can. There are various ways. You can make use of text function to do that. You are going to, because we generate, this is an array now. You can make use of, instead of dragging them, I can just make use of hash sign, because these are a dynamic array, and the format text now will now be DDD. DDD will give it the full day. I'm coming. So this, Abi, is this what you are trying to get?
Yes, sir. And the month, how are we going to get this month separately as well?
It's still the same way. Still the same way. Just that this, the DD will be for month, it will be MMM, or, and if it is just 3, it's going to give you a short month. And what's the last one? You can make use of the year function or the text function too. But if you use text function for year, you won't be able to make use of calculate anything unless you convert that one to the number form. I think that's clear now. I think that's clear, Abi.
Yes, I think so, because I think you've answered everything. Well, I didn't meet him. Maybe you've answered. Maybe that's why he's not saying anything anymore. So I'm looking at our time. We have another session in about less than an hour. And I know we have to do prize giveaway, and we have to ask you 2 general questions. So let's start with the prize giveaway. So I want you to ask a question to the audience, and then everybody we're not going to allow people to talk. So let me even make Bello an attendee, because we want to be transparent. So we want everybody to put their answers in the chat box, so that way it becomes clearer to know the first correct answer. So Sir Quadri, yeah. So yes, take us away. Ask us a question, and then the person who gets the answer will avoid the prize. Then I'll tell what the price will be. Yes, please.
The question will be, how are we going to make an optional parameter in a lambda function without, and if we ignore the arguments while applying it, how are we going to go about building the lambda function with optional parameter without
doing
answer
comma?
Yes, without it throwing an error and comma.
So
is it complicated?
I think I got it. Like, what is that special thing we need to wrap around the optional? I've given them the original. So okay, one answer has come in, but this person is like, the person is even asking us as a question. So I don't even know.
The person is not sure.
Let's see if other people have, let's see us answers coming.
They are all thinking.
Everybody is thinking. Okay. All right. What do you think about the 2 entries that have come in?
They are great, but I'm not sure. Okay. And what are we going to? Okay, let me just add another question.
Let's do that. It will be as if we are cheating. But
Let me add
one?
something to it.
I'm
so
thinking.
what
Okay.
function am I going to introduce to default to a particular default argument?
Oh, okay, I get.
What function am I going to introduce for the optional parameter to default to a particular default argument?
Okay, now I get it. That's like the full question, like that part. Okay, now I see. It's still part of the same question, like in
It's the
addition
same.
to
It's the
it's the
same. So
same
they are
question.
the
Okay,
same.
okay. So anybody who, so why they are trying to, remember me, I even remember, you give us, after you do this, and then you put this, it will turn to false, it will turn to true, and then it will you put it inside an if function, it will, and then blah blah. I remember that you
No
did
one
it
is
with the
answering this.
you did it with the VAT, and if someone will get it to be nice. So while they are racking their heads, I want to ask you two questions, and then that brings us to the end. Question one is, how did you tell us about your journey? I will combine the two questions so that you can answer them together, but there are two questions. So one is, how did you start your journey into this data analysis space? I know you are more on the finance side, but it would be nice to hear your journey from zero to where you are now. You know a lot of formulas. You are very popular in the Telegram group, so we are not a lot of people have benefited from your answers. You are thorough. See what you've done in just 1 hour. You have given some of us, headache. You've covered a lot. So and you are doing it effortlessly. So how did you go from zero to where you are now? That's question one. Then question two is, what advice do you have for people who are all, wanting to become experts, become really good, maybe change their career into data analysis related career, but right now they're at zero level. So what advice do you have for them? Your story and then your advice. Okay.
Your question,
They
I
carry
don't,
weight.
I'm not sure I'm in a position to give any advice.
You are.
I'm not sure. Okay,
Our Excel Telegram people, they disagree. Everybody knows your level already, that wow, you're one of the top people. So please don't distinguish with your advice.
okay.
Please give.
All right. The thing is, I don't know how to go about it. But I don't get every day, almost every time. There are usually different features in which Excel introduce. Apart from Excel, generally, IT generally. But the thing is, I don't get carried away. I just, whatever I need to learn, I just make sure everything is structured. Whenever I get to hear about a new function, I go on YouTube, learn from different people, different perspectives. But talking about my journey, the first one was just to study a whole playlist, and I have no idea what I was doing then. That was 2020. That was during my service, 2021. And the first function, I was able to, like, I know some function and all of that. The first function I did that I feel like a magician was if function. When I did an if function, it seemed like a lot to me. But since then, I was doing some other things, and I left Power BI Excel alone for some while. So I learned Power BI from Mr. Ahmed. So I was not doing anything Excel then. But later, when I started as an intern. What I was doing was mostly about Excel. Everything is Excel. So I had to drop Power BI for some while. Though there are a lot of transferable skills, like the Power Query. I was just doing Power Query. I don't really know more of the formulas then. I don't know the formulas. whatever I want to do, I make use of Power Query. But I started picking up some. And doing challenges actually open me to a lot of learning. Daily challenge, Excel challenge, I will just go and search different kind of challenges. And I learn by doing every day. Learning by doing actually helps me a lot. And I also help a lot of people too. My colleague, different answers. The ones I don't know too, because they feel I know it. And when they feel I know it, I will tell them to give me some few minutes and I will search for information on it and I will know it by just looking for the right information. About the advice, I don't think I've given any advice, have I? I think that's all.
So I was even trying to summarize some of what you said, but let me, because of time, I'll just say it. And Paul, also from the group, is mentioning it that you solve a lot of Excel, BI, and BI quizzes on LinkedIn too. So I think that's part of what has helped you. So you mentioned that you try to be focused. You're not easily swayed by every new tool. You started with Power BI, but then when you moved into the work environment, and then you had to start using Excel. I know you are a bit humble, but this intern you're saying was years ago. So then you've progressed multiple times in your career. And I think as the job required a new tool, you are using those new tools. And there was a time it was mostly Excel, and you learn by doing. You always rise up to every challenge. You try to see how you can help. That's one thing that you said, but I want to amplify
I
it.
think I need to add something.
Yeah, please do.
Concerning fundamentals is actually key because a lot of things that most people actually feel is advanced, they are just a lot of fundamentals combined. People
Awesome. I
usually
like
want to
that.
do the shiny things, the advanced. When you tell people you want to organize an Excel training and the year is for beginners, or they feel it's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a beginner, or maybe intermediate. Those terms are just terms people use to sell their course and nothing more.
Exactly. I always tell people that
The fundamentals very, very key.
you need to use whatever you need to get the job done. You're not going to say I'm an expert. I will never use, equal. I will never use some functions in Excel because they are not advanced. You will use whatever you need to get the work done. We are the ones who are split it into intermediate, advanced, and beginner, and also to add to you, most HR people, that's the way they to understand training stuff. So, and also sometimes, it's just like you said, it's just to organize the training, but in reality, you will use everything you need to use to get the work done. And sometimes I've seen cases where people ask things that looks complex, and then when you do it, people are like, oh my God. So it is even this simple thing that I should have used, because in their mind, they are always thinking that something advanced means you have to use something really advanced. And like you said, it's just a mix of fundamental things, a mix of a few things that achieves it. So I like how you've said all of these, and we
Shout
appreciate
out
your
to Mr.
humility.
Victor Momo too. I usually learn a
Yeah.
lot of things from his channel as well.
Okay, great. Yes, I think we might share the channel, even share the Telegram group here for people who want to be part of the group. So at this juncture, I think we have to end so that we can. So our gift, yeah. So
no one
for
has
the
answered.
let's just give to the people that were bold enough to answer a first part. I confused them. I kind of made the question look to be only that part. I forgot that also there's that other part of it. So someone says sequence, but I can help them out. The answer is omitted. Right. That's what you're expecting, right? That they should also
Yes,
mention
sir.
is omitted. Yeah, okay, great. So I'm going to mention the people that I think they are correct, at least based on when I was trying to reinterpret your question. I forgot to mention that it's not just that part. So I'll share my screen, show you what the price is, and then uh So we have a course portal, right? So this is what I will tell you to do, because I know that we are all different in terms of what our interest is and maybe even our journey. So I'm going to post this on the link. What you need to do is just you email. I will give you the email address. You email us and tell us which one we should give you a lifetime access coupon to. So you will get a lifetime access coupon to the course. So I'm going to like the 3 people that won. So let me just, so that they will know that they are the ones that we are expecting. I think there are 3. 1, 2. I saw one other. Yeah, okay, Collins. Yeah. So so those 3 people. So please, Collins, let me mention our names, Bello and Paul. I'm using 2 screens, so it's not easy. Go to this link. Go to pick the course you want, or note the course you want, because you can't pick it there. If you pick it there, it will tell you to pay, and we don't want you to pay. We want to give you for free. Note the course you want and email us at webinar@yourbizedge.com with stating the desired course, and we will give you a lifetime course access with certificates issued on completion. So it is full bouquet. It's not like we'll give you. It's not like we'll just give you access and you won't get what the people that pay. So let me just cross-check what I've written. Please call in below and go to the course you want and email us at webinar.com stating the desired course, and we'll give you a lifetime. Yeah, so it's correct. Sometimes I type rubbish. Okay, so please just do that. So yeah, you can chat me privately, David. So thank you very much to everyone, and thank you for staying this long. I know we did longer than usual, but also too it was filled with value. Today I see how one can robustly even use that Excel lab. And I learned a lot from how Quadri splits the problem. So there's a problem, he splits it, he does it the way we are used to, then he says, let's do it this other way. That's a very nice teaching style. So thank you very much, Oga Quadri. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the presentation. I know you couldn't finish. If you want to maybe do a part 2 or do another continuation, you can notify Taiwo, the guy from our end who was coordinating with you. And if you tell me to, I will tell him to reach out to you. But thank you very, very much. We appreciate the amount of effort. It took work for you to set that up. I'm sure it took you more than the 1 hour you have used to present to us to set up all of that. And you are here even 30 minutes before the session. We appreciate your contributions. Thank you to everyone. Connect with Quadri on LinkedIn. I've shared his LinkedIn profile. And if you are interested in the session for Power BI, let me just share the link. You are invited, so this is the one we just finished. Then this is the one for Power BI. So we have someone coming to talk about Microsoft Fabric, at 6 p.m., in 30 minutes time. We have this session that is on Power BI. So if you're interested, you are invited. You are welcome to join. Thank you, and have a very wonderful week ahead. Bye. Thank you, Quadri, once again. We appreciate. Thank you, everyone. To everybody who participated and won something, thank you. Bye. Let me end this session.